So, Thero and Saranai everyone. Today, also, we are going to have our discussion as our weekly discussion. And in the end, if we have time, we'll move on with a meditation session. And before starting today's session, let us clear our minds so that our minds are suitable and the background is suitable for a Dhamma discussion. So let us think about the good deeds that we have done throughout this life, meritorious deeds that we have done throughout this life. That meritorious mindset would create happy feelings and all the conflicts in the mind would go away. Thinking about the great qualities of Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha also would help. And focus on the Dhamma that we have understood so far, and also the practice of Dhamma that you have doing so far, meditations, Dhamma discussions and everything. May all the meritorious power that you have generated throughout this sansaric journey may agglomerate together, creating the background for everyone to understand Dhamma, all the barriers and obstacles that you might have in your RA pathways, in your pathway to Nibbana may get diminished, creating all the necessary background to attain Nibbana. Accept this blessing with the sadhukara.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
And let us take this opportunity to focus on the negative things that we have done. We might have done all sorts of negative things in this sansaric journey, like hurting, stealing, having unethical relationships, lying, slandering, use of harsh words, use of meaningless words, greediness, maliciousness, and wrong and distorted views. All those wrongdoings towards the sentient beings might have generated negative effects on us. So let us, in this occasion, let us understand our faults, let us acknowledge them as our faults, and let us correct ourselves. In Buddha Sasana, forgiveness is not just repentance, it is understanding our faults and correcting them so that we can move forward, becoming better version of ourselves. So let us seek forgiveness in front of Supreme Buddhas, correcting our faults and moving forward. Accept this with the sadhukara.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So you have sent me a few questions in the WhatsApp group, and if you have any other questions, or you can type that into the chat, and we can discuss any questions, or you can put it in the WhatsApp as well. If you have any questions, feel free to put those questions in the WhatsApp, and we are going to discuss from question 1. And first question that you have posted in the group is, I have a question about Girimanda Sutta. Please explain how using of pure Buddha Dhamma lead to cure severe illness. So it's actually, in this case, there were in the Pirit book or the Chanting book, we have 4 suttas that might or that has the ability to reduce the pain and suffering. So one is the Maha Moggallana Sutta, Maha Kassapa Sutta, and also Maha Chunda Sutta, and then the Girimananda Sutta. So this actually, I don't know whether it cures the disease or it cures the pain and suffering. So it could be mostly the pain and suffering, because then it is very easy to understand how that happens. So the thing is, these suttas are recited or are written in a way that increases the samadhi nature of a person. If you have recited Pirit, it helps the samadhi. It is when you recite Pirit, you tend to have this ability, or your mind becomes kind of calm and quiet, and the 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 concentration of the mind also increases with Pirit. If you use the correct version and correct chanting in your practice. And the other thing is, these were not recited by just ordinary people. In two instances, it was recited by Supreme Buddha himself, and in the other instance, it was recited by a Arihat Bhikkhu called Maha Thero, and in the other instance, it was Ananda Thero who was reciting. In this instance specifically, in the Girimananda Sutta, it was Ananda Thero who was reciting this sutta to the to Girimananda Thero. So they are, in a way, at least Sotapanna, and more, and Supreme Buddha is, of course, Supreme Buddha, and the other Thero is Arihat. So they have the ability to chant this while developing the samadhi. All of them, all four, all the people I mentioned, all the persons I mentioned, they have the ability to develop that samadhi within themselves when they are chanting it. And if you have this samadhi experience, if there are a lot of people in a room who is practicing samadhi at the same time, it has a synergistic effect. It increases the effect of each person's ability to generate samadhi. So likewise, what happens when somebody is chanting this spirit, the whole area and the aura of that other person is being cleared, and the whole area is being cleared. All the black energy, all the negative energies are being diminished, and it is filled up with all the positive and white energies, and that helps the other person to attain to the samadhi, enter the samadhi. So because of the pain and suffering, if it is a severe pain and severe suffering, one cannot develop samadhi. One cannot enter a level of concentration because of the pain and suffering. But since there's external assistance from another monk, preferably a monk who has samadhi, then that other monk has the ability to enter the samadhi using his samadhi background. It's kind of a help, an external help given to increase the samadhi level. So when that is happening, other thing is, these are Dhamma points that are being discussed in the suttas. In this Girimana Sutta, it talks about all the 10 sanya, anicca sanya, dukkha sanya, anitya sanya, anatta sanya, pahana sanya. Likewise, it talks about all the sanyas that are need to get rid of these worldly attachments. So thinking about this would definitely, it'll start the developing of Satta Bojjhanga in ourselves. So the Dhamma Vijaya Sambojjhanga would start acting along with Virya and Preeti. And this Preeti, there's a Pali term called Preeti Manasa Kayo Pasaddati, Pasaddakayo Sukhang Deti, Sukhino Samadhyati. So what happens when there's contemplation of Dhamma? It leads to Preeti. Preeti is pleasure. It's a bodily, a mental pressure that is also that disperse towards the entity or element of body. So body also becomes a part of preeti or pleasure. And priti manasa kayo passaddati. So then the passaddhi occurs. Passaddhi means the lightness of the body and the mind. So then the person does not feel that heavy in the body and mind. And passaddha kayo sukhang deti. Then it leads to a state of blissfulness. And this state of blissfulness leads to samadhi. So if the person is having pain and sufferings, at the point when he is listening to it, external help and the help of Dhamma itself, these two entities help that person to get out of that suffering that he is or she is facing to a samadhi level, a pasada level, a passaddhi level, or a light, the lightness and the pleasure and also the blissfulness comes and alleviates the pain and suffering. It reduces the pain and suffering, and it makes the person's mind a soothing and a sentimental one. And the person can now easily continue to have this samadhi level, and the pain and suffering reduces as a result. Because if you know about the backstory of that Girimananda Thero, he was very ill. He was in his deathbed, and he has not completed his RA journey. He has not fully enlightened yet. And Ananda Thero went to Supreme Buddha and said that this bhikkhu is in his last moment, and he is in pain and suffering as well. And Supreme Buddha gave this sutta to be recited in front of him. And Ananda Thero did this, learned this 10 sanya, or learned the sutta, and then went to Girimananda Thero and started reciting this, and he became Arihat, as I can remember, after listening to it. But it did not cure his disease, but it reduced the pain and suffering. He passed away as a result of the disease, as I can remember. But his pain and suffering reduced. He got that window that he needed to understand Dhamma and to end the suffering samsaric journey. So that is how actually a sutta, especially these suttas that we recite, like Mahakassapa Thera Bojjhanga, Mahamoggallana Thera Bojjhanga, Mahachunda Thera Bojjhanga, and the Girimananda Sutta. These suttas are being recited. So the mechanism behind it is that what we discuss right now. So even when we have a problem, we can start reciting it, but when we recite it alone, since we are in pain and suffering, it might not do a very potent job, but it is anyway good because the Dhamma part is anywhere there. If we can understand Dhamma points that are being highlighted in the sutta, then it will have some effect. But if somebody with a great samadhi is reciting it for us, then it will have major benefits because it's creating that background support. It's clearing that aura and the background dark energies that cover us when we are in a low mood. So that helps.
Okay, thank you very much for the answer, Venerable Thero.
Okay. So any other questions? You have sent me something about the Sadbuddha chanting or the Vipassana mantra. Yeah.
Yes, as we do the meditation, I also wrote that in the WhatsApp group. We always do Buddhaguna
Mm.
meditation, and I was listening to the Vipassana Matu chanting, and then that it's from Attanatiya Parita. It explains the special characteristics of the seven Buddhas. So I thought maybe whether it could be connected to the Buddhaguna when we do the meditation, and if it can help us.
Yeah. The thing is I have not gone through most of the special characteristics or lives of this each and every Supreme Buddha. What I usually do is I think about Arahang Samma Sambuddho, and then that 9 qualities give me an idea about what a Supreme Buddha or what he is like, or what the quality of Supreme Buddha is. So it is actually 9 qualities, not a person, right? But focusing on the person's individual qualities also helps. For example, all I know is in terms of Vipassi Supreme Buddha, he was the first Supreme he lived, I think, 91 eons before this, 91 or 93. Then in that era, people had very long lives, and all the details of this is in Mahapadana Sutta of Digha Nikaya. So there's a sutta called Mahapadana Sutta in Digha Nikaya, and if you go through it, you can find the name of the mother, name of the father, the lifespan, and the main 2 disciples of that Supreme Buddha, and how many bhikkhus were there in that Supreme Buddha's era. All the things are there. So the main special thing is he did not blink. He did not have the need or the urge to blink. So we blink because of vexation building up in our eyes, right? When the vexation starts to build up, we have to blink, otherwise it'll start tearing up, and we would not be able to stay calm and quiet. It will be very painful, and it'll have a burning sensation. So because of the meritorious power that Supreme Buddha has generated, there was this specific quality in him that he did not have to blink. So, and the other thing is, he used to stay in the council of his dad or father, who was a king at the time, and in that era, he used to stay on the lap of the king, and king was giving judgments to the people who has done wrongdoings. So he was telling, okay, he is guilty of this, and punish him like this, and punish him like that. So this small prince he could not even talk at that moment, very small, and he used to show discomfort and disagreement through kind of this body language, saying that you have given a wrong decision. So he had that much of intelligence, even as a small, very small baby. He had the ability to understand what is being happening and understand that the king has given a wrong judgment, and was able to reverse it with all the body languages and everything. And king used to look at the child, his son, and think, okay, maybe I have given a wrong decision. That's why my son is not pleasant anymore. So he was having that kind of ability. So these are few things that I know of, but I'll have to refer it to in detail. I have to refer it in detail. I also don't know much about these individual qualities of Supreme Buddhas actually. So I'll try to investigate and let you know about various stories about the Supreme Buddhas later. I think needs to be we need to find accounts and past scriptures that are on these Supreme Buddhas. So the Panya way is actually focusing on that 9 qualities. Actually, that will help what we discussed right now. The personal qualities also would help. Not that they are useless; they are very useful. But we can also use this Panya Indriya, or the 9 qualities of Supreme Buddha, to focus on this Vipassisa Namatu chanting. So Vipassisa Namatu Chakku Mantasa Sirimato. So Chakku Mantasa Sirimato comes due to the non-blinking ability, and also due to that power of or the Panya eye of Panya, because he had a all the Supreme Buddhas as this. We just focus one entity in one Supreme Buddha. That was what, because we like to see something different. But Supreme Buddha is equal to a Supreme Buddha, right? We don't find any difference in that way. Arahang is equal to Arahang. Samma Sambuddha is equal to Samma Sambuddha. So Supreme Buddha is equal to a Supreme Buddha. So we don't find that much of differences, especially differences maybe in the names and father and mother. Likewise, there could be differences, but not in the state of Buddha. It's always the same. So likewise, we can think about the great qualities of Buddha and think that, okay, 7 Buddhas has emanated in this world, and many sentient beings have benefited through the kindness and metta of those Supreme Buddhas. And they have passed away doing a great service and a great thing to the world and to the universe. So likewise, we can think in different ways.
Thank you very much, Thero. Yeah, and as you said before, it would be great if we can investigate, and then you can explain to us later the different qualities.
I'll try that. I'll have to find some books written on this subject. It'll take a while. I'll work on that.
Thank you very much, Thero.
Okay. So any other questions you might be having? There's one in the chat. It is not my question, but it is relatively good question. I have a question related to Sakkaya Ditthi and the concept of rebirth. If I have clearly understood and accepted that the 5 aggregates are not mine and that there is no unchanging self, then why should I be considered about what happens in a future rebirth? For example, if after death there is no me continuing into a next existence, but instead a new stream of vijnana arises with a different identity, conditions and form, says a John or a dog, then what connections do I have with that future being? Why should I care? Okay, so I think everyone is clear. So I'll rephrase that question to make it easier. So what he is asking is, if this is a if this is a cycle of continuous causes and effects, so if a set of causes gives rise to an effect, or a fraction of existence is a result of a combination of causes, as soon as that fraction of effect or the fraction of existence dies, when it decays and dies, and the next fraction of existence is a very new one, not the previous one, it's a new one. So if there's no connection, if the previous one is gone and the one comes after that is a new one, why should we care about what is happening? Because anyway it dies and a new one arises. So why do we care, since it's a new one? Because we are not constantly feeling suffering. Something like that is us, right? So the thing is, if you think about the experience you are having right now, when we let's go through that the existence, the fraction of existence, the whole story once again. So how do we come to how do the existence occurs? So we usually use this example of a oil lamp. So there's an oil lamp, and in this oil lamp we put oil and a wick, and at the end of the wick we light the oil lamp. and we see a flame at the end. And this flame does not last even a second. It dies. And we have to see this through wisdom. So the flame number 1 is a result of oxygen molecule number 1 and the oil molecule number 1. And this whole chemical reaction resulting in exothermic reaction releases heat energy in the form of a flame, and that is flame number 1. Since the ingredients that are used in this equation changes oxygen to carbon dioxide, and the oil molecule also dies into and changes into something else, now flame 1 cannot last because all the ingredients are gone. So flame 1 dies, leaving the room for a flame 2. And the flame 2 is a result of oxygen molecule number 2 and the oil molecule number 2. And this results in flame number 2. And it also dies. And this continues. Flame 1, 2, 3, 4, and flame number, it goes to a very large number. And this cannot be seen with naked eyes. It is only seen with wisdom. So we are able to see it that we cannot find a constant flame that lasts forever. It is a series of effects, and the illusion which is created by that creates a constant. We feel like there's a constant flame, but there's no constant flame, right? It is changing, and it is dying. Only a fraction of flame can be seen, and this constant flame is an illusion of a constant activity or a constant process that is happening with regard to the oil lamp. So the same thing happens with us. So we come to be as a result of a set of causes. So let's compare our life, our me, to the flame. So me number 1 is a result of all the causes that needs to align for existence to happen. So that is me number 1. But since all the causes are being weared away to create the effect, me number 1 also dies, leaving room for a me number 2. So when this happens, me number 1, 2, 3, 4 into me number x, we can see a constant person who can talk, who can think, who can go, who can do all sorts of things in this life. But the thing is, it was just a fraction of existence at a given time, but it dies, leaving room for the next brand new person. It's like clones of the same person superimposed on one another when the previous one dies. So we feel like it's a constant existence. So we discussed in the previous discussion also, when a person dies, what happens? That person's me number x or me number last me number, let's say it's me number x, that is the last one. And after that, all the causes are aligning in a way to create a dog or a cat or again a human or a god or whatever it is, whatever the sentient being it is. So if that is the case, then the next person or the next entity or the next fraction of existence would be of a dog, would be of a cat, would be of another existence. But that drastic change only tricked us thinking that, okay, I died and I was born as a dog. I died and I was born as a cat. I died and I was born again as a different human. But it was happening throughout our lives right now as well. the thing is, when the clone, it is like the same clone is superimposed on one another, so we don't see a difference. But what if something different was superimposed on us, like a dog? So we die, our fraction, this last fraction of existence dies, and then there's a dog. So then we see a break of the continuation. The continuation of the image, continuation of the thinking, and everything breaks and something different occurs. But it was happening all throughout this process. But since the change is so drastic, we feel like I changed into something else. But it was not, it was already happening all throughout this life, and before as well, and right now as well. So it's nothing new, nothing different in terms of anatta nature, in terms of jara marana, or this process, nature of the process is just like that. So if that is the case, we don't have to think about the next life. We can apply this problem to our current life and think about the result. So think about the current life, the experience you are having right now. You are dying right now, and you are born again and again and again, and this process goes on. When that is happening, do you feel like you don't care anymore? Do you feel like, okay, I don't care whether about the pain and suffering? No, it's real, right? You can feel it. You can feel the pain and suffering because of the mental ability to link the past memories and link the past experiences. So past experiences, to what happened 2 minutes ago, is able to recall through the mind. So if somebody has scolded us, or stabbed us with a knife, or hurt us with a physical object, then that recalling power is very high, and we tend to recall it to the current moment. So the current existing moment is also of dukkha nature, and in the next second also it recalls back. And this is like a kind of a wound that keeps throbbing, creates a throbbing pain. It increases and it decreases, increases and decreases. It never ends. That kind of a experience is real, and we are experiencing it right now. So that is there. So in the next life also that would be there. When we go to the some kind of inferior realms like hell, or animal world, or the preta world, that would be there. So with wisdom we can understand, okay, this is never going to end. This continuation would never going to end, and the feeling of suffering is real, even though it does not last even for a fraction of a second. The suffering is real because I am experiencing it right now, so I have to do something about it. So if somebody is ignoring that, then that person is accepting that whole pain and suffering even we are experiencing right now, and much more to come in the previous world, uh, coming worlds, coming lives. So I don't know whether it answers your question. I think it answers your question. Mr. Amin, is it clear, or do you have any follow-up questions? Okay, so any other questions you might be having? Please feel free to put them into the. So if if you don't have any other questions, then we can move on to our meditation. Okay, so then we'll move on to our meditation session. So this would be again a guided meditation, and we'll start with the focusing of air, and then we'll move on from that to various kammattanas, and we'll end with questions you might be having regarding meditation, and then at the end punyanumodana, transferring of merits to all the beings in the universe. So
Oh, Venerable Thero, I'm sorry,
yeah.
but there's a question that just came up, and
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a question again. Okay. Would you mind explaining what each of the 10 abhyakata questions specifically means? Sasato loko va asasato loko vati. Anta va loko va ananta va loko vati. Tam jivam tam sariram vati. Anyam jivam anyam sariram vati. Hoti tathagato param maranati va nahoti tathagato param maranati va. Hoti ka na cha hoti tathagato param maranati nava hoti. Yeah. So these things were actually not answered by Supreme Buddha because it does not complete the purpose, or these questions or the answers to these questions does not direct us to end this suffering samsaric cycle. These are different things. It's like somebody was stabbed with an arrow and the person is bleeding and the person is in dying condition, and the person thinks about, okay, who shot me with this arrow? Where is it made of? Is it made of wood? Is it made of steel? Is the person who shot me a very elite arrow or a person who uses arrows, bowman, elite bowman? If somebody is focusing on those types of questions, then that would not help in his curing process, because he's bleeding and he'll die in a moment and he's not focused on the correct questions. The correct question should be, how should I get out of this situation? How should I stop the bleeding? How is this arrow poisoned? Should I need some kind of antidote for the poison? Should I call a doctor? Should I seek for help? Those are the good questions that should have been asked. And this is a simple comparison. So here, sasato va asasato va loko va. So it means the person is asking whether the world is of that means is it permanent or impermanent? And if the answer was given as yes, it is. So these are the only two questions that they look for. They need a yes and no answer, a black and white answer. That's the problem here. If we say no, it's not permanent, then they'll fall into the Ucheda Ditthi. If we say it's permanent, then they'll fall into the Sasata Ditthi. So there's no correct answer there. So left unanswered. Again, is this word ending? Is the word has an end, or it doesn't? Is it endless, infinite? So again, does not increase, does not develop panya, does not find the answer for our problem. It does not cultivate wisdom, and it'll answering these types of trying to find answers to these type of questions would generate more questions, and answering that new set of questions would lead to more questions, and it is like going into a swamp, getting buried in mud. We are unable to at some point it feels like we are unable to come out of that mud. We are so buried in the mud and we are helpless because mud has come to the level of our neck, and we can't move our legs, we can't move our hands, we are totally stuck. So that kind of effect is there in these types of questions, because these are not things that our capacity or human capacity can understand. Tam jivam va tam sariranti. So this is again that kind of a question. Is the body one thing and the life one thing? And is it body is the life, life is the body, or something, some type of question like this is asked again to understand or to go into either sasata ditti or ucheda ditti. If we say that life is one thing and body is another, then they'll come to the conclusion then it is okay to kill, because body is another thing. Body is not life. Body is something else and life is something else. So they'll fall into severe consequences because of that, because they will do all sorts of bad things and would say, okay, that is fine because body is something else and life is something else. And if it was given, it's the same thing. Again, they'll fall something either into Sasato, Ucheda Ditti, saying, okay, after death, then there's no life. Then you fall, you become a person who don't believe that karmic cycle, or a person who does not understand the causes and effects. So since people who seek answers for these questions need yes or no answers, not explanations, these questions were left aside without answering again, because you can't answer these questions without getting into either Sasata Ditti or Ucheda Ditti. So again, after death, whether there's a animal or a sattva, or whether there's no sattva, or whether there's sattva is something else, and so only sattva occurs after death, and after death sattva is not there. Before death is only sattva. Likewise, there are 4 entities, as I can remember. So all these questions are not focused on avijja, not the main problem. It's just like focusing on the producer or the manufacturer of the arrow or the bow, or the name of the bowman who shot us, without focusing on the current problem that we are having. So that is actually a part of avijja that leads us to think in this way, because it is the curiosity of the mind. Curiosity in wrong ways can lead to chanda, chitta, virya, vimansa is good if it is used in good ways. Chanda, chitta, virya, vimansa. Vimansa is kind of not the curiosity, but asking questions and the wanting of knowing something more, something deeper. But if it is used in the correct manner, in Arya manner, that becomes a strength. But if it is used in the wrong manner, the chanda is used in a wrong manner, chitta is used in a wrong manner, virya is used in a wrong manner, vimansa is used in a wrong manner. Let's say we started thinking about constructing nuclear bombs, and that is our chanda, that is our likeness. Chitta, and our thinking pattern goes in that way. Virya, and we put effort in that way, and we start learning in that way, and we start acquiring data and information, to construct that kind of a destructive weapon, that is not going to cause good things at the end. So that is, if it is used in good ways, Chanda, Chitta, Virya, Vimansa, Chanda is to attain Nibbana, Chitta is that thinking, Virya is the effort that we put towards that, Vimansa is the things that we should know and that we should seek for to understand the end result. So that is Chanda, Chitta, Virya, Vimansa. So that we should focus on. So that is, I think that is why Supreme Buddha has not taken his valuable time to answer these questions, because it will not give out a good answer. Instead, it will always be biased to one side, because it's like trying to balance on a thread. Either we fall into the right side or to the left side. It can't stay on a thread balancing for long. As soon as you try to answer these questions in a black and white manner, you either fall into the left side or the yes end or to the no end. So these questions were left aside without answering. I hope that's clear. We'll move on to the meditation then. And if you have any other questions, we'll take them at the end. Okay. So before starting the meditation, find a good place that you can relax, that has less sounds, less disturbances. And if you can be in a seated posture, or if you prefer the meditation posture, you can go into that as well. And keep your back straight. Don't try not to get any back support. Try to keep your back straight on its own. And then close your eyes, or you can half close your eyes. After that, take few deep breaths, having the intention in your mind to relax your body and your mind and to prepare yourself to this meditation. Now focus on the air column that is moving up and down through your nasal passage. We are not focusing on the points that our air column hits, like the tip of the nose or the upper lip. We are only focusing on that gaseous quality by focusing on the whole air column that is moving up and down through the nasal passage. Notice the qualities of air. It's light. It's non-attached. Not like the solid nature. It can move freely without getting attached. Compare our minds to that quality. When we are attached, it creates resistance. It creates problems, conflicts. But when the mind is non-attached, it moves freely. It does not create resistance. It is very light. Focus on this quality of gas or air and compare it with your mind and try to focus on that non-attached mind by seeing the great or the qualities of air. Now focus for a few minutes. If the mind is going out of focus to external things, don't try to be like a solid object. Be like air. So what we do is we focus on the object that made us distracted and see the true nature of that stimulus, whether it comes from the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, or mind. Focus on the reality. Focus on the anicca, dukkha, and anatta nature of it, which leads to the reduction of value ultimate result being non-attachment. So that unforced non-attachment due to the understanding of Dhamma would get back us to the gaseous nature or the quality of air. We are not forcing our minds to focus on the quality of air. We are just creating the background for it. Now, with our minds which are calm and peaceful, we are going to recite the great 9 qualities of Buddha. Focus on this sound, focus on the meanings, simple meanings, and these sounds would help us to deepen our samadhi to a higher level of concentration and to develop wisdom at the same time. Recite these qualities with me. Namo Arahang, 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 Namo Arahang. Namo Arahang. Namo Arahang. Namo Arahang. Namo Samma Sambuddho. 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 Namo Sambuddho. Namo Samma 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 Sambuddho. Namo Vidyacharana Sampanno. 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 Namo Sugato. 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 Namo Lokavidu. 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 Namo Anuttaro Purisa Dhammasarati. 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 Namo Sattha Deva Manussanang. 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 Namo Buddho. 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 Namo Bhagava. Namo Bhagava 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 Namo Bhagava. Let's focus on all the sentient beings in front. Let's focus on all the sentient beings on the either side of the front. Let's focus on all the sentient beings on the right. Let's focus on all the sentient beings on the either side of the right. Let's focus on all the sentient beings behind. Let's focus on all the sentient beings on the either side of the back. Let's focus on all the sentient beings on the left. Let's focus on all the sentient beings on the either side of the left. Let's focus on all the sentient beings below. Let's focus on all the sentient beings above. All the sentient beings, including myself, may get freed from the samsaric suffering, may get freed from the disease of samsara, may get freed from the fear of samsara, may get freed
from the flames of samsara, may get freed. From the burning samsara, may get freed. From the sorrowful samsara, may get freed. From the sansaric raga, may get freed. From the bonds of samsara, may get freed. From the ocean of samsara, may get freed. From the desert of samsara, may get freed. From the darkness of samsara, all the sentient beings, including myself, may attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. All the sentient beings, including myself, may attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. All the sentient beings, including myself, may attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Let's focus on all the sentient beings in front. Let's focus on all the sentient beings on the either side of the front. Let's focus on all the sentient beings on the right. Let's focus on all the sentient beings on the either side of the right. Let's focus on all the sentient beings behind. Let's focus on all the sentient beings on the either side of the back. Let's focus on all the sentient beings on the right, left. Let's focus on all the sentient beings on the either side of the left. Let's focus on all the sentient beings below. Let's focus on all the sentient beings above. all the sentient beings, including myself, may get freed from the sansaric suffering, may get freed from the disease of sansara, may get freed from the fear of sansara, may get freed from the flames of sansara, may get freed from the burning sansara, may get freed from the sorrowful sansara, may get freed from the sansaric raga, may get freed from the bonds of sansara, may get freed from the ocean of sansara, may get freed from the desert of sansara, may get freed from the darkness of sansara. All the sentient beings, including myself, may attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. All the sentient beings, including myself, may attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. All the sentient beings, including myself, may attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Let's focus on all the sentient beings in front. Let's focus on all the sentient beings on the either side of the front. Let's focus on all the sentient beings on the right. Let's focus on all the sentient beings on the either side of the right. Let's focus on all the sentient beings behind. Let's focus on all the sentient beings on the either side of the back. Let's focus on all the sentient beings on the left. Let's focus on all the sentient beings on the either side of the left. Let's focus on all the sentient beings below. Let's focus on all the sentient beings above, all the sentient beings, including myself, may get freed from the sansaric suffering, may get free from the disease of samsara, may get free from the fear of samsara, may get freed from the flames of samsara, may get free from the burning samsara, may get freed from the sorrowful samsara, may get freed from the sansaric raga, may get freed from the bonds of samsara, may get freed from the ocean of samsara, may get freed from the desert of samsara, may get freed from the darkness of samsara. All the sentient beings, including myself, may attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. All the sentient beings, including myself, may attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. All the sentient beings, including myself, may attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. no matter however much we try to treat the vexation of these external organs, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. We can't get enough of them. We can't get enough of the images, sounds, smells, tastes, touches, and thoughts. So it creates an infinite journey that never ends. The insatiable nature of these external or internal organs and how the pleasure is created as an illusion of getting rid of the vexation needs to be seen to get to this ultimate conclusion of getting out of this recurring cycle. So let us contemplate on the reality, focusing on the essenceless nature of this journey, seeing it like an ocean that cannot be filled with water. Eyes are an ocean that cannot be filled with images. Ears are an ocean that cannot be filled with sounds. Nose is an ocean that cannot be filled with smell. Tongue is an ocean that cannot be filled with taste. Body is an ocean that cannot be filled with touch. Mind is an ocean that cannot be filled with thoughts. World is an ocean that cannot be filled with gratification. Eyes are an ocean that cannot be filled with images. Ears are an ocean that cannot be filled with sounds. Nose is an ocean that cannot be filled with smells. Tongue is an ocean that cannot be filled with taste. Body is an ocean that cannot be filled with touch. Mind is an ocean that cannot be filled with thoughts. World is an ocean that cannot be filled with gratification. Eyes are an ocean that cannot be filled with images. Ears are an ocean that cannot be filled with sounds. Nose is an ocean that cannot be filled with smells. Tongue is an ocean that cannot be filled with taste. Body is an ocean that cannot be filled with touch. Mind is an ocean that cannot be filled with gratification. World is an ocean that cannot be filled with gratification. We tend to attach to suffering entities with the wrong idea that they give comfort and bliss. All the suffering is hidden, and we are deceived by the reduction of suffering as blissful. So if we drop this wrong ideology, and if we drop those attachments which are with the suffering entities, that is blissful. Etang santang etang panitang. What is blissful? What is sentimental? If actions are not done, if actions are not created, to reduce or to maintain the deceptive sufferings, that is blissful, that is sentimental. If we are not attached If attachment does not occur towards these suffering entities, that is blissful, that is sentimental. Yadidam sabba sankara samato sabbu padi pati nisaggo tanhakkayo non-attachment virago. When that does not become the priority, when the value is zero, that is blissful. Nirodho, when it is not created, that is blissful. Nibbananti, separation from this world, salvation from this world is blissful. Etang santang, etang panitang, yaditang sabbe sankara samato, sabbu padi pati nisaggo, tanhakkayo virago nirodho nibbananti. Etang santang, etang panitang, yadidang sabbe sankara samato, sabbu padi pati nisaggo, tanhakkayo virago nirodho nibbananti. Etang santang, etang panitang, yadidang sabbe sankara samato, sabbu pati pati nisaggo, tanhakkayo virago nirodho nibbananti. Etang santang, etang panitang, yadidang sabbe sankara samato, sabbu padi pati nisaggo, tanhakkayo virago nirodho nibbananti. Tanhakkayo virago nirodho nibbananti. Tanhakkayo virago nirodho nibbananti. Now, focus back again on breathing, focusing on the gaseous nature of the air column that is moving up and down through the nasal passage. Notice the lightness and the non-attached nature of the air. And focus on developing those qualities of non-attachment in our minds so that our minds would be less tense and peaceful and free. Now take few deep breaths with the intention of ending today's meditation. Focus on the surrounding, focus on the body, and gradually open your eyes when you feel comfortable. So, if you have any other questions, we can go on with the discussion, and otherwise, we can end today's discussion after a short Punyanamodana, like we do all as always. Take your time and you can input any questions to the group chat. Okay, since no one has sent any questions to the group, we'll end today's session with a short Punyanamodana. So we have been discussing Dhamma and trying to find answers for the questions that you have got when you are contemplating on Dhamma, when you are practically focusing on Dhamma pathway, and throughout the time the questions were being discussed, you paid attention and your minds were not racing towards the negative emotions of attachment, hate, or ignorance. They were focused towards wisdom, non-attachment, and peace, metta. So the meritorious power that is generated by those alopa, adosa, and amoha mindsets are immeasurable, and we have been transmitting those energy, those mental waves to the whole world, to the whole universe, cooling down the universe, which is burning out with rage, which is burning out with anger attachments, greediness, and ignorance, and all the other negative emotions. So with the meritorious power that we have generated today, and also by engaging in meditation, spreading loving kindness or metta meditation to all the sentient beings in the world, and contemplating the true nature of Dhamma, cooling down ourselves as well as the worldly beings, we have generated immeasurable amounts of meritorious power through these actions. All the meritorious power that we have generated today may agglomerate together, helping everyone in their Arya pathways. If you are having any difficulties, hindrances, and barriers to complete your Arya journeys until Nibbana, may all the barriers and obstacles may get diminished, clearing up the pathway to Nibbana, and may everyone get the perfect background to complete your Arya journeys, ending the suffering samsaric journey, attaining Nibbana. Accept this blessing by reciting Sadhu 3 times.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
And let us transfer this meritorious power to all the sentient beings, starting from our deceased relations of this life and previous lives, and all the sentient beings that helped us throughout this samsaric journey, like our parents of this life and many previous lives, teachers, ones who gave us jobs, colleagues in workplaces, spouses, children, neighbors, relations, and people that who coexisted with us, helping each other, and also the ones who constructed the infrastructure of the society, our houses, lands, vehicles, and everything, and also the ones who are paying the bills of this temple, electricity bills, and also other internet connections, and who are maintaining these devices, and who has sponsored for these devices, and also helping to continue these institutions. Only because of them we are able to have a normal or a uninterrupted discussion as well as a meditation session. So let us not forget them in this special occasion, and also everyone who were hurt and harmed by our previous actions in this samsaric journey. Without knowing what is right and what is wrong, we tend to attach to many unwanted, unnecessary things, and in this attachment, in this war with other beings, we have hurt and harmed many souls without knowing what is right and what is wrong. So let us acknowledge our faults, and let us take this opportunity to send them this meritorious power as a compensation for all the wrongdoings that we have done, and also to the Brahma gods and the gods who are in the 6 realms of deities, and all the sentient beings in the universe. Let us transfer this meritorious power with metta and kindness. If they are in miserable places, may they refrain from doing sins. May they replace those sinful acts with meritorious deeds. May they lead happy lives, full of life, comfort, power, skills, and wisdom. Ultimately, meeting a Arya companion, opening up the eyes of wisdom, ending this suffering samsaric cycle, attaining Nibbana. Accept this and transfer this great meritorious power to all the sentient beings in the universe with metta and kindness by reciting Sadhu 3 times.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So I'm going to end today's session by reciting this Pali stanza, wishing everyone with long life
skills, comfort, power, and nibbana. Abhivadana series Nichang Vaddha Pachayano Chattaro Dhamma Vaddanti Ayuvanno Sukham Balang Ayurarogya Sampatti Sagga Sampatti Me Viche Ato Nibbana Sampatti Iminate Samichyatu. May everyone attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Theruvan Sarana.
Sadhu,
Sadhu, sadhu,
sadhu.
sadhu. Teruvan saranai.
Theruvan
Teruvan
Sarana, everyone.
saranai.